this rally. Now we know this rally has been called for various reasons. One of them is to energize the left, unfortunately, so Democrats maybe can get back in office. But that's not why we came here today, is it? No, that's not why we came here. We came here because we have a message that's important to end these wars. And we want everyone to understand how these wars are related to the other issues that are affecting this country. Now we've had this message for the past 9 years. This isn't a new message for us. Okay, but everyone doesn't understand it, and everyone is not connecting it to their own politics. Now, one thing I think is really, really important to think about. This is the first big rally in the post-era when we were the ones that were bringing out hundreds of thousands of people, the peace movement. This is the first one that we're part of, that we're not the so-called head of the spear. That's important to understand, because that means we have to change how we do our organizing. That's important for you all of us to understand. We have a challenge today unlike anyone we've ever had in terms of connecting our issues, making them more visible to the rest of the progressive movement. This is really extremely important. So when you go back home, you've got to work in your communities in ways you've never worked before. You've got to connect things with people in ways you've never done. But we have the second challenge of keeping the wars visible, because there are people who want the wars to be invisible. Yeah. People that call themselves progressive. People who call themselves liberal. So we have those two challenges: connecting the issues at home with our communities and keeping the wars visible. And I want you to look around and understand that this is a huge challenge, and our work is more important right now than it has ever been. And you can look around and see that. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of people on the mall today. Yeah. And we have to connect with them. Right. So thank you for coming out. We are powerful, we are strong, we will end these wars, and we will build a progressive movement in this country. Thank you.
Jane English to the stage. And Jane represents one of our progressive churches here in Washington, D.C., Plymouth Congregational United Church of Christ. You're looking good, D.C. Yeah. Everybody here, my name is Jane English. I bring greetings from Plymouth Congregational United Church of Christ, Board of Social Action. If you found page 2 of what I was about to say, you will see Langston Hughes' poem, What Happened, the montage of a dream deferred. What happens to a dream deferred? And I'm not going to go into that today, but what I will say is this. There is no excuse that we have the unemployment level that we do in this country, and that it is almost twice as much in Southeast D.C. as it is in other parts of the country. It is ridiculous and just an outrage that we spend as much money on war, a war that we did not agree to as the people of this country. There is no excuse that we do not have a public education system that works. Okay, so we've got to put people back to work in this country. We can teach people to read. We can take all of the ideas and build things. We can put a stop to this war, bring our troops home, and we can definitely change this justice system. I will not go on and on because I'm preaching to the crowd. But one thing I will say today is it is an abomination that we have as many people in the prison system as we do today. It is just another form of enslavement. Statehood for D.C., go out and vote. Even if you don't think you got somebody to vote for, we died for that right, and we died for the right to assemble on this mall and the associations that we have regardless of your politics. Thank you.
Kevin and Joyce Lucy from Gold Star Family, speak out.
All right, I didn't know I was going to have to say anything today. My name's Joyce Lucy. I'm a proud member of Military Families Speak Out and a reluctant member of Gold Star Families Speak Out. My son Jeffrey went over to Iraq in 2003. He was in the initial invasion, came home. We thought he was okay. He started struggling with what turned out to be PTSD. We took him to the VA, and many of you probably already know his story. They gave us absolutely no help. No guidance, and my son hanged himself in our basement June 22nd, 2004. My husband was the one that found him. It's left a devastating effect on our whole family, and we have been marching ever since. And 6 years later, we're still here. And suicides are still happening every day, and we need to put a stop to it. We need to put a stop to the wars, and I'll let my husband take over from there. Thank you.
What Joyce said is so true. Jeff represents the casualties that no one in this government, that no one in this country really recognizes. Do you know that your president won't even send letters of condolences to the families of military suicides? And that they talk about trying to deal with stigma when the commander-in-chief refuses to recognize their sacrifice, it's wrong. And it is the fault of the government that the suicides aren't even being addressed as they should. These are the unknowns, these are the uncounted, and these are the unacknowledged. Please, whenever you see the formal number of casualties, know that there are so much more. And now, with the government having ignored our veterans, we also have, regretfully, corporate America, who seems to be trying to profit off the death of our troops. And I'm talking about the entire Prudential situation. So I would ask, please, on behalf of the Gold Star families and military families, help us, support us, so that no one in the future will have to go through what we have. Thank you very much for being here today.
This is an anti-war demonstration. This is a pro-peace demonstration. This is a demonstration to take war out of our budget and put it into jobs and into education. But when we speak of anti-war, we can't be generalizing like we're against war. Everybody's against war. Bush said he was against war and he waged war. So when we say we're against war, we have to name the perpetrator of wars. And we know who the perpetrator is now. We know that the military budget has increased in the last 2 years under a certain person. We know that $14 trillion, the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind, went to Wall Street in the last 2 years. And we know who oversaw that. We have to name names if we're against bailout. Who did the bailout? Barack Obama. Who increased the military budget and expanded these wars and are deep in Africa, fomenting all kinds of discord that results in millions of deaths? Barack Obama. So we're not here just in general about we in general hate war. We are against the people who perpetrate wars, and we got to say their names, and especially the chief perpetrator at this moment in time, and that is Barack Obama. Keep that in mind. This is not a general anti-war demonstration. This is to keep an administration from perpetuating war, and that administration is a Democratic administration. We're not here for a pep rally. We're here for an anti-war rally. Thank you.
Kevin Lesson and Charlie Richardson from Military Families Speak Out.
Good morning, everybody. It'll be 8 years ago in November that Military Families Speak Out started an organization of military families speaking out to prevent a U.S. invasion of Iraq. It is now 8 years later, and we are over 4,000 military families with loved ones in Iraq, loved ones in Afghanistan, loved ones who have died in Iraq, loved ones who have died in Afghanistan, calling for an end to the wars. We want to thank everybody here for assembling on this day to carry our important message, and we want to end with the chant that we started back in 2003 that goes like this: not one more day,
not one more dime,
not one more life,
not one more lie.
End the occupation,
Bring our troops home now,
and take care of them when they get here. Thank you.